You want to learn languages and culture? Clic on Air is your best option. Come and join us. Listen to us every Wednesday through www.radioamigainternational.com.
Radio Amiga, musical culture, 11 years on air.
Okay, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Clic on Air, Clic on Listeners. This is Wednesday, 4 p.m. As every Wednesday, every week, here we are to have an excellent radio broadcast, another hour of good talk, good English, and of course, a good topic. And we're going to have an excellent guest. He's been with us, I think this is his second or third time, but it's always a pleasure to have him here. But first of all, let's say hello to Nicholas. Hey, man, I see you have a guitar over there. Be careful.
How are you? Hello, Luis. Hello, Clic on listeners. Welcome to your favorite radio broadcasts every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Clic on Air is the best option, like the promo said. I'm okay, Luis. Thanks for asking. I don't know, like Bogota's weather, no? Remember, bipolar's weather today as well. So it's rainy, sunny, but well, I'm okay, working hard.
But
like
right now it's really hot.
Yeah, and like every Wednesday, we have an excellent topic for today. We are going to talk about some history, yeah, related to rock music here in Colombia, especially in the 90s. Also, we are going to talk about the current situation with our guest, and about teaching and his activities in this moment of quarantine. So welcome, Clic on listeners, and remember to participate in our social network. So go ahead, Luis.
Yes, that's completely right. I mean, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have an excellent conversation. We're going to have an excellent show, and it's a very interesting topic. I mean, Colombian rock. But first of all, let's say hello to our guests. Let's say hello to Julian, and I don't know, take a few minutes, Julian, to tell us and our Clic on listener, how do you feel to be here again?
Your microphone is off, Julian.
Oh, excuse me, guys.
No problem.
Well, how are you guys? Thank you so much for the invitation. Once again, it's a pleasure to be here. Yes. Well, in the comfort of my house and our homes. Yeah, but it's really nice to see you again and share experiences and some information about our favorite topics as usual.
Yeah. Yes, as Julian said, this is I think it's one of his favorite topics, but I think it's everybody's favorite. I mean, everybody loves music and everybody loves rock. So Nicolas, without further let's give you some time to introduce our topic for today. What is our topic? What are the questions for Clic on listeners to participate?
Yeah, okay, Clic on listeners. Well, as you see, I have my guitar in the back. I try to play the guitar. I'm not very good. But yes, I just bring the guitar because today we are going to talk about rock. And well, it's my favorite music. So please participate, Clic on listeners with the hashtag for today, which is hashtag Clic on Colombian rock. And participate with these questions. Please answer these questions. What do you remember about Colombian rock in the 90s? What bands do you remember? Yeah, remember the 90s, very nice decade. What bands do you remember from this decade? What is your favorite band and your favorite song? So tell us, what is your favorite Colombian rock band? Yeah, and your favorite song of this band. So participate, Clic on listeners. Very nice topic. And we have teacher Julian here to share with the experiences with us according to this topic. So welcome. Yeah, participate.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget to use the hashtag Clic on Colombian Rock and let us know about and answer those questions. It's always nice to talk about this topic. And but first, I think it's time to, I don't know, to click on music for the first time. There would be an excellent song for the day. What is our first Colombian song, Nicolas?
Okay, I think let Julian introduce the song. Julian, can you
Yes.
introduce this song, please?
Thank you so much,
Because
guys.
you're
Thank you.
selected.
Yeah, I chose this song because it was the first Colombian rock band song that I heard on the radio. When I was like 11 or 12 years old, I started to listen to music in English, and also I started to listen to rock music. And in that time, it was difficult for a local band to sound in the radio. And I was really surprised because the song was really good. And all the people, even the next generations, will remember this song because of the lyrics, because of the sound, and especially for that excellent voice that this guy, if you remember, Elkin Ramirez, that unfortunately he passed away a few years ago. So the song that I chose to start with this program is Vestido de Cristal by Kraken. So I hope you enjoy it and remember very good and very old times.
Okay, let's listen to Vestido de Cristal by Kraken.
Si hace falta que le mire a los ojos, miraré. Ya hoy creo que es tiempo. Usted es quien me lleva, usted puedo siento arder, pero sin miedo. Olvidarle me da igual. No estoy mintiendo, ignoro su juego. Si su vestido de cristal se quiere en silencio. Me ha sorprendido con el llanto en mis manos, muriéndome y ahora le diré por qué no he vuelto a esconderme bajo su piel. Guardé. Ignoro su juego, si su vestido de cristal se quiebra en silencio, que no revele sus disfraz.
Welcome back, Click on listeners, and that was Vestido de Cristal by Kraken. Excellent song, man. I think, and this is our topic for today, Colombian rock. So today we're going to be listening to Spanish rock, Colombian rock. And remember that you can participate with that hashtag, click on Colombian rock and answer these questions. What is that? What do you remember about a Colombian rock in the 90s, and which one is your favorite band or your favorite song? So tell us everything you want to tell us about Colombian rock and about this particular song. What do you think? For me, Kraken is one of my favorite bands, and I think this song is a fantastic song. I mean, the lyrics are cool, and as Julian said before, the voice is tremendous, is incredible. Unfortunately, Elkin passed away, but I think that his legacy will be remembered forever. What do you think, Nicholas, about this song?
Well,
You didn't know the song, right?
yeah, of course, it's a classic. I love this song. When I was 15 or 17 years old, I screamed with all my lungs.
But it's not that old.
All my what?
The song is not that old.
Yeah, maybe, man, of course.
It is quite old. It's quite old. Yes.
It's older than
okay,
Nicholas.
When I was 15, it's older than me. So I love this song. I would like to know the story behind this song, because actually I don't know. But I really love the melody, the lyrics. No, it's a song. It's I don't know. When I listen to this song, I remember something epic, like things like that. And obviously the voice of Elkin is incredible. His voice is very high, his tone is very high. And well, I love the song, but I don't know the story behind the song. Maybe.
So maybe Julian can help us with that, because before we listen to this song, Julian was talking about how he heard this song from the first time from the radio. I mean, it was one of the first Colombian rock song that you heard on the radio. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, it was my first experience with Colombian rock. And according to an interview that Elkin Ramirez had a long time ago, he mentioned something about the meaning of this song. And I will read the quote for you. And he said that Vestido de Cristal is a confrontation against your false ego in order to take off that dress we always wear due to our fear to awake from the lie in which we live in. So he tries to express his disagreement with society, because all the people show a face, but they never show the real face because of our social status, because of our occupations, and basically is because of our fears and other people's reaction. So it's kind of cool to realize, the deep meaning in a song, even if it's in English or in Spanish in this case.
Well, I didn't know, but
yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't know that, but now that you think about,
you didn't know many things.
Yeah, but I am here. I am here to learn. But you know what? This is the perfect metaphor, the perfect metaphor, because it's that glass dress, if we may translate that, vestido de cristal, that he says, quiebra en silencio, qué débil es su disfraz. I think in that case, if you analyze it, knowing what Julian just said, it makes perfect sense. I mean, if your mask isn't strong enough, your true self, at the end, it will come up.
Yes, and right? How would you feel if you had to remove the mask?
You will be exposed.
You will feel fragile. You are completely yourself. you know?
Yes, it's like Nicolas, for example. He has that guitar in the back, but he doesn't know how to play it. You see, he doesn't know how to play it. So his mask has
It's a
fallen.
mask. Yeah. But also,
Yeah.
well, it's very important.
Guitarra de cristal.
Guitarra de cristal, yeah.
Okay,
No,
kind of cool.
but it's interesting, no? What Julian said about Elkin and this song. I didn't know, same as Luis. But I think, well, it's because we are, well, we have fears, no? Like Elkin said, and these fears, we need some kind of max to protect in front of society. We are fear of many things, so incredible, no? And I think every person has a vestido de cristal.
Yes.
Well, every person is using a mask all the time. So, for example, Luis has many masks. So he uses a lot of masks in different scenarios of society.
But I would like to ask you a question, guys. Well, I
Okay.
mentioned the first Colombian rock band song I heard in my life. But what about you, Nicolas? And what about you, Luis? Which song do you remember? It was the first from a Colombian rock band.
Well,
Luis,
during that
Luis, go ahead.
during the 90s.
Well, in my case, I would, if I have to be honest, I would say it was a song by Equimosis.
Okay.
It was, oh my God, I think it's the name is De Madrugada, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the title. Yeah.
I remember it was when I was in my town, because in those kind of towns, I mean, rock is not very strong. I mean, Vallenato and Champeta takes over. But I remember that was the first song I ever heard by as Colombian rock. It was this song by Equimosis, and I always liked that song. And even today, I keep on listening to that song. So I think that was the first. What about you, Nicolas?
Well, I was checking because I actually my memory is not really good.
Because of the
Come
age,
on,
right?
Nicolas.
About the I mean about the titles of the songs. I can't remember properly. I confuse the titles sometimes, but I was checking. I was doing my research on Google. Because the first band I
As
remember,
always.
it was La Pestilencia. It was the first band that I remember. I listened to Rock al Parque, but it was a long time ago. Yeah. But I think that the title of the song, I don't know, Julian, if you correct me, is the most famous one. Okay, you have perfect. You have the album there, no?
The name of
the song
the
is
name.
Autodestrucción, I think.
Yes, La Ciencia de la Autodestrucción. But remember that La Pestilencia was also one of the bands that became very famous, but because of the content they had, at the beginning they were like a punk band, with very strong lyrics against politics and all problems in the society. They couldn't be heard on the radio. So it was after a long time that they could break in the radio and became very, very famous, to the point that they could play the videos on MTV,
Yeah.
But yes,
Excellent.
it's a very classic band now that every Colombian rock fan, has to listen to at least once. Yes, that's right. Okay, and
You
how
see,
did you feel when you listen to that song, Nicholas? How did you feel? What was
okay. When I listen to that song, I go back to my time when I was very young. I was
when
a
you
rebel.
listen to that song, you feel old, right?
I
Very
feel
old.
yeah.
Really old.
I go back to I go back to my past, of course, and I remember the rebel times. I was young. I was full of rage and back in that moment, and this music was perfect for those things. No, I think the music is part also of the stages of life. So when you are very young, you listen to this music because it's similar to the moment you are living. And when you get older, you listen to vallenato, for example, like Luis,
Yes,
because now he's more relaxed. He's
you
more,
settle,
it's
you
very
settle
calm
down.
person. And but
That is,
Luis had long hair.
yes, I know. You know, there is a song by a band called Jethro Tull that is called "Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die." Maybe that's your case.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, rock and roll is for everybody, even
Yeah.
for the youngers, for you know,
Maybe, maybe.
for everybody.
Okay.
And it's all the time fresh for your ears, and that's why you and I like rock and roll very much.
Yes.
Which other bands do you remember? Because you mentioned Kraken, you mentioned
No.
Pestilence, and you mentioned Equimosis, but which other ones do you remember back in the 90s? Because I remember some, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably Aterciopelados, I think is from that decade, but I'm not pretty sure.
Yes, that's right. Yes, they completely. They became very popular in the middle of the 90s. Yes, you remember
Mm,
this album, you
Okay,
know,
cool.
and you remember the song Mujer Gala. Yes, everybody knows that. Yes,
yes, I
a very
mean
short song, you know.
that's what I was going to propose, both of you. Why? I mean, we're going to do this exercise. Teacher Julian is going to help us with this exercise. Nicolas, what do you think? We're going to try to, I don't know, uh, speak a little bit about Colombian rock history in the 90s. And we're going to, we have a selection of bands with the help of Teacher Julian and some songs. And the idea is to use them to retell that story. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's an excellent idea. So the methodology today is different, no? Like you say. And well, we're gonna listen some songs, and at the same time, Julian is going to tell us the story. That's the idea, right?
Yes, but we're not going to
Okay.
listen to them. We are going to
To
tell
mention the
them.
titles.
I
Yeah,
just
mention the title. And this is the exercise.
okay.
Maybe we mention the title and our Click on listeners can search for the song and listen to it, but in a moment. Uh, let's start with the first band, the one we just listened to, which is Kraken, which for me is one of the most notorious Colombian band. When Elkin was alive. What can you tell us about Kraken, Teacher Julian? The
Well,
Kraken.
yes, one of the most important aspects in Kraken was the lyrics. You know, at the beginning, when they started to create music, they started with heavy metal. Yes, they had a lot of influence from bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, you know, and all those, for example, Scorpions and those hard rock bands. So they had their first album. All their albums are called Kraken, Kraken first, Kraken second, and so and so. In their first album, their sound was heavy metal. Yes. For the second album, they decided to include keyboards, you know, and they tried something easier for listeners, especially to start to try to sound in the radio, and it was a real success. So Vestido de Cristal became in a hit immediately, and they started to become famous. So they continued creating, very good songs, not like heavy metal, but like hard rock, and eventually like a rock band. And obviously, everything was directed by Elkin Ramirez because he was the brain in Kraken. He created the lyrics, and also he created many of the songs that you remember when you check their albums.
He was
But
a true musician, right?
yes, and a poet. Everybody remembers Elkin Ramirez as a poet, and he was very connected with his fans. he wasn't like the common rock star, you know. No, he always had that kind of connection with their fans. And there are people who said that they used to go to some rock bars, you know, in Medellin, and they could find Elkin sharing a beer with someone and having a conversation, like any person. So
Like
that's
Nicholas.
an
See?
important thing about
Any person, any
Like
person.
Nicholas. See?
yes, that's
He
it.
he's okay. See, that's a real good information because I mean we all love Kraken. I mean it's impossible not to love them because their music and for me, as for me, I mean I think that Elkin was a real musician. It was like this work that they did with the orchestra and with the philharmonic and everything, it was tremendous. But let's now that we talked about Kraken, we're going to select two songs by Kraken, and probably teacher Julian can help us. Nicola, what is the two songs that we selected?
Yeah. So we are going to talk about Hijos del Sur y Escudo y Espada by Kraken, which is the two songs that the teacher Julian selected. And well, so what can you tell us about these two songs? And Julian, why Kraken? They should have put like, I don't know, Bachue or Sue or something like that, no? Because it's something
The
closer to our
Kraken.
culture.
Well, because they want
I'm joking. Kraken is
they
better. I was
wanted,
joking. No.
yes, they wanted.
What can you tell us about these two
Yeah,
songs?
they want, well, the name Kraken, you know, as you remember, it was at the beginning a heavy metal band, and they want, and all those names have to show, you know, strength, you know, and a very strong sound. That's why. And you know, Kraken is one of the, you know, biggest creatures in mythology. So that's why. And if you check their first album that is called Kraken, that creature appears on the cover. Yes.
And
Um, well, you mentioned Hijos del Sur, and the other one was Escudo y
Escudo
Espada. Yes.
Espada.
Espada.
Well, I could mention something about Escudo y Espada that appears in their first album. It's one of the oldest Kraken songs. And it's like that, you know, every heavy metal fan feels like a warrior, you know. Now it's a cliche, yes. Now
Yeah.
it's a cliche. But in many stories, if you listen to Black Sabbath, if you listen to Manowar and all those heavy metal bands, there is always a concept about a warrior, you know? And all warriors had a shield, you know, and a sword to fight. And the idea is fighting against those bad things that happen in the society, and also fight for your real yourself, for your dreams, you know, and for your expectations, you know. Try to be real is the meaning in many of Kraken songs. Well, I can't mention something about Hijos del Sur because when I started to listen to Kraken, I was focused on the hardest sound they had, but eventually they became like a rock band. Yes, so I started to stop, you know, following their albums. So I couldn't tell you anything about Hijos del Sur, but I remember that yes, it's like a very soft and it's a song that all as many songs called about Latin America and all that stuff.
Yes, I mean, I like that song because of the lyrics. Maybe, yeah, as you say, the sound's different, it's softer, but I can say that the lyrics are, for me, are very deep, you know, because it's like you said, like an encourage, it is encouraging like Latin America to come together, you know, and it shows. I don't know who wrote the song, maybe Elkin, but the song shows some incredible understanding about the Latin American culture and how these lyrics put together different cultures from the different countries in Latin America. That's a good exaltation of that culture. And what do
Yes,
you think, Nicholas?
like the tribes we have in Colombia, in Guatemala, in
Yes.
other parts of Latin America and South America as well. Well,
What do you think, Nicholas? Because you think that you always said that you have like indigenous background. That's a lie. and
No,
also a
of course,
disrespect. But
of course I do. Well, I don't know, Luis, what is behind Despacito? We have to ask.
well, I don't know. No,
but
I mean
I'm joking.
we are talking about
I'm
rock,
joking.
guys.
I'm joking.
that is the kind of rock
Yeah, I'm
Nicolas
joking. I'm
listen
just
to.
trying to, well, to show. I'm trying to show what is the difference between these lyrics. You know, as you see, you can see poetry in these lyrics, like Julian said. So of course, comparing with the lyrics of today's music is, well, it's not really good. So I love the lyrics. I love these songs. I know them, and I love the melody. It's like a ballad, no, very slow melody with a strong lyrics, like Julian said. And well, as you see, guys, nowadays we don't have this kind of lyrics. No? We just try to
Yeah,
make something
unfortunately, yes.
to,
We
well,
have better ones.
exactly.
We have better
And
ones.
now it's just well, no, well, yes,
Yes,
it's not.
Yeah,
the topic now in music.
vamos,
Yes,
vamos para la playa or something like that.
yes, it's just
Vamos
having
pa' la
fun,
playa.
and yeah, okay.
Okay,
But
Nicolas, what is
let me
the?
remember. Sorry.
No, I mean I was going to ask you what is the second band that we have for teacher Julian.
Yeah. Okay, before that, click on listeners. Please don't forget to participate in our social networks because today's topic is very interesting. Click on Colombian Rock. Please participate. Hashtag click on Colombian Rock and answer these questions. What do you remember about the rock, the Colombian rock in the 90s? What is your favorite band and what is your favorite song? And if you have a question for teacher Julian about rock, go ahead, please participate. And okay, the next band we have here is a very famous one, which is Equimosis, no? When we had Juanes as a rock star. And we have the songs Solo and Sin Rencores. Okay, well, you have the album as well, Equimosis.
Wow. So what
That's
can you
right.
tell us about Equimathis?
Well, their story is kind of similar to Kraken's. They started not like a heavy metal band, but they started like a thrash metal band. You remember that
Wow.
Juanes is a big fan of Metallica.
Metallica,
If you
yeah.
remember that Rock al Parque festival in which he played Seek and Destroy, with his original voice, and they at the beginning they released
What happened to Juanes?
No,
Okay.
because Nicolas,
Is a question that all metal fans ask
Metal
themselves.
fans, yeah.
except
Yes.
for
Sorry,
Nicolas, except for Nicolas, because Nicolas loved the second one is more than the first.
Okay. Yes, and they released an EP with 4 songs, but it was called De Rodillas. Very difficult to find now. But then they released their album Niño Gigante, that is this one, that contains the song Solo, and that is a ballad, but their lyrics had a very deep meaning. And with this album, they became very famous and very popular, not only in Colombia, but in other countries in South America, like Peru, like Bolivia, like Mexico, Chile, Argentina. So they were very recognized because of this album. And it was a hit. It was a hit. Everybody knows and everybody remembers this song. And after this album, well, this album is like a mixture between thrash and heavy metal and rock. It contains different sounds. But after this album, they became like a rock band, and you remember songs like Sin Rencores, Ciudad Pacífico, and then, like De Madrugada, etc. So they changed their sound very much, and so many metal fans dislike that, the idea to change, but other fans continue listening to Juanes and Equimosis. And well, this is an album that I really like too much because it brings me back to those high school days in which we started to grow our hair, to feel like a real rocker. Yeah. And that's
Nicholas,
that's the
Nicholas,
story
still,
I miss
about
those days.
Nicholas still feels in high school. That's his
yeah.
Yeah,
best.
I still have long hair. I try to keep like
He's a young spirit,
in that
man.
way, in that
He's
decade,
like Peter Pan. He's
but
like
my
Peter
face
Pan.
is old.
Yeah, but
Well,
but you have a
I
young
have
spirit.
wrinkles now, so
Okay.
well, Nicholas,
always young,
as,
only a spirit.
as we said, this has been or is being an excellent conversation, an excellent topic, and we are going to continue speaking about some other bands and some other songs. But first of all, I want to ask Nicholas. This is a very, I don't know, nice conversation. But if our Click on listeners want to fully understand this conversation, what do they have to do?
Okay, click on listeners. Thanks for participating. If you want to understand teacher Luis and teacher Julian and me, please go to Centro de Lenguas, Internacionalización y Cultura, Clic. There you can learn French, English, Portuguese, Italian. You can meet nice teachers. You can meet nice people, and you can have fun and learn at the same time. So please don't hesitate. That is the best place for learning languages.
That's right, and not
Okay,
only
Luis?
for learning, yes,
Perfect.
not only for learning languages, but also for practicing them. You have this space, this radio broadcast to practice your English language, and you also have the conversation club. Tomorrow we will have another conversation club, and you're more than welcome to join. It's always a pleasure to have you there and chat with you. So continue with our topic, and
What is the topic for tomorrow, Luis?
it's history. We're going to talk about history. Okay, remember, Click on
Okay.
listeners, that you can participate using the hashtag Click on Colombian Rock and tell us what do you remember about the Colombian rock in the 90s and what is your favorite band or song? Say your favorite Colombian rock band or rock song. Teacher Julian, continue speaking about this band. Now we got Poligamia with this song Desvanecer. I think that Andres Cepeda was probably the one who changed it the most.
Yes.
Is another example.
Yes. Well, it was like a high school band when they created that song, and they participated in a radio contest, and they got the prize to record the song as a single, not like an album, but as a single. And that song obviously became very popular, especially for high school listeners. Yes, it was one of the most played songs during those days, especially in proms, if you remember that. And that song helps Andres Cepeda to build his career as a singer. Yes, but that's the story behind Desvanecer. It was like a contest. I don't have a copy of that song. Yes, in that time, I didn't buy too many records. Yeah, but it was. I remember that it was like a single, and Radioactiva was promoting that song very much. They helped many local bands to sound in the radio,
So,
and one of those projects was Polygamia. Yes.
so we can say that Poligamia is like it's very similar to that band that Nicola loves. That is from a TV series that is called RBD, something like that.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, RBD, was right long after. Yes,
It's like a high school.
but yes, yes. But it was a long after high school generation. Yes, but that's the story behind that song, Desvanecer. And when you listen to that song again, yes, you remember that the voices, because it was
High school.
it was not only Andres Cepeda singing, but there was a girl. Yes, it was a very romantic song. Yes, many many classmates dedicated that song to their girlfriends. It was a good time, a very romantic
Did
time
you
for Colombian bands.
did
Well,
you, Luis?
no. I wasn't a big fan of Polygamy. I am now. I am a big fan of Andres Cepeda because He's an excellent musician.
He's
But
an excellent musician. Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I don't like his music, similar to Juanes. I don't like his music, but I respect his work.
you like his hair, probably. Okay, I think it's time to click on music for the second time, Nicholas. What is our second song for this day?
Yeah, talking about Solo by Equimosis. Yeah, we are going to listen this amazing song and remember Juanes when he was a rocker. I don't know
Okay,
what happened afterwards, but Juanes with long hair, yeah, the real Juanes. That's a different Juanes, no? So
let's.
let's click on music. Solo by Equimosis.
Okay, welcome back. That was Solo by Equimosis, and we were just talking about this band and about this song. Man, yeah, it was a very important band in the Colombian rock history, as Julian just said. Do you like the song, Nicholas?
Of course, very good song, especially for this moment of quarantine, because you are alone by yourself in your home. So yes, I love this song. I remember when I was so young and you were there in your room by yourself listening this song, and it was incredible. Yeah,
Well,
it's a song to listen by yourself.
okay. Well, I can just say that, man, time flies, and I think that probably we're going to run out of time, but because we're going to read some of the comments that we have because we have a lot. But before doing that, I will select one of the other band for teacher Julian to help us, and this is a band called 1280 Almas, or as Nicolas would say, 1,280 souls. But that's what. And
The best bands, in my opinion.
songs that we selected was like Soledad Criminal y Los Planetas. What can you tell us, teacher Julian, about this band?
Well, here I have the album again. This is the
Wow.
album that contains the songs. The most famous song by 1280 Almas is Soledad Criminal. Remember that these bands were created at the beginning of the 90s.
Don't let that happen to Nicholas.
Yes, and it was a difficult time. It was a very, how can we say, a time of fear, you know, because there were terrorist attacks in the city. So Soledad Criminal describes that how people can go crazy by those events that happened in a city, in a crazy city like Bogota. And Los Planetas is a romantic song. Yes, it's dedicated to a person you love first, but then you hate. Yes, and it has a relation with the planets like Venus, Mars, you know, Saturn. You know,
Okay.
yes, it's like a science and poetry song. You know, it's a mixture of that.
Nicholas likes the band, but he doesn't know the story behind the song.
No, actually, I love that song, but I didn't know the story behind. That's true.
Okay.
I know these guys. They are anthropologists from La Nacional. So after they studied anthropology, they created the band. So that's why the lyrics are so deep. Yeah, and
yes,
well, they are from Bogota, and that's incredible.
exactly.
They describe
Yes, and they lived that difficult time back in the day. So that's why Soledad Criminal is, you know, is an important moment in that time.
Oh, Nicholas, what do you say if we go over our social networks and read some comments?
Yeah, sure, Luis. Okay, click on listeners. Thanks for participating. Your comments are very important. Here I have some comments. I'm gonna read some. Edith Alpri says, I remember Rock al Parque in the 90s. Wow, it was amazing. The best bands played there. Which ones do you remember?
Well,
which ones do you remember from Rock al Parque?
I remember that I always I wanted to listen to Kraken at Rock al Parque, but I had to watch them on television because I was far away.
Canal Capital Television. Okay. Julian, what bands do you remember from Rock al Parque?
Well, I started to go to Rock al Parque in 1996. And I used to listen to more metal than rock music. And I remember La Pestilencia was the first time I saw La Pestilencia, and it was epic. Yes, all the people jumping, singing, screaming their songs, and moshing. That was incredible for me. It was a very nice experience, and it was the first time I checked a heavy metal concert in my life. So I was really impressed. And also I remember other bands like La Derecha, for example, yes, by Mario Duarte. You remember the actor. And yes, exactly. And it was one of the bands that sounded a lot in the radio with Ay Que Dolor. Yes, everybody remembers that song. Yes, and Mario Duarte helped to create the festival. Yes, thanks to him, we could have the first shows in Rock al Parque. That's why La Derecha played 3 consecutive times in Rock al Parque, because Mario Duarte helped a lot to create the festival.
Thanks, Mario. Okay, we have Mario. Daniel Rodriguez says, my first one was in 2001. I really remember Purulent, some grind metal band. It was shocking but cool. Okay,
yes,
wow.
Purulent, yes. A death metal band, yes. I still remember Purulent a lot, yes. Very heavy, yes. I like them very much. Unfortunately, their guitar player died when they were participating in a festival in Europe. Yes,
that's by overdose.
No, it was an accident. It was an accident. Unfortunately, similar to Cliff Burton's death. And they had 2 albums. Purulent had 2 albums, and those guys from the National University as well. Okay. Very creative, very creative.
We got Juliana Garcia say, hi, Luis, Nicolas, and Julian. Hashtag Clic on Colombian Rock. The first group Colombian rock that I heard was La Derecha, Don Teto, Kraken, The Mills, and Equimosis. Good names. Okay. Then we got SMD Salgado DSM. He said, I am into all kind of music, and I listen each genre depends on my mood. Thank you for participating. Daniel Rodriguez says, one of my favorite Colombian bands is Neurosis. I heard them a lot when I was younger. Live, I mean.
Wow. Yes, they were another very important metal band, and they are still working. Jorge Mackenzie was the creator of Neurosis with Arley Cruz, who was the first singer, and they created the epic albums. Verdun 1916 is their most famous album, and they participated a lot in Rock al Parque and other festivals, and they are still working. That's the most important. They are still popular, yes, and they have released several albums. And this album, Verdun 1916, will be pressed in vinyl for the second time for the next year, I guess, or for the end of this year. So if you like to listen to Colombian metal, yes, Neurosis is a very good example. Thank you for that comment.
News for Daniel. Okay, we have also my friend John Loza Angel. Hello, my friend. He said, Nicolas, listen Nino Bravo. That's true. I listened to Nino Bravo when I was younger as well.
That is your rock.
I wasn't as crossover as Luis, but I listen to other music as well. No? You have to be open to music. Yeah, but no, my favorite one is. Sorry, Luis?
No, I still do it. Nino Bravo, Roberto Carlos, good rockers.
Yeah. Sandro is the Elvis from South America.
I'm from America.
Indeed.
Okay, we have Angelica Nosa. Well, maybe she's from Italy, probably because of the last name or something like that. Say hello, Click on Air. I like Colombian rock. My favorite band is Equimosis and my favorite song is Solo. Why the rock music is not very popular in Colombia?
Well, it's popular, but in just a few cities because most of the time, the most popular music is our traditional music, you know. Yes, and we are more to tropical, you know, that kind of music than rock. But thanks to the 90s, the rock music spread a lot in the country. Yes, and it was a
Especially
phenomenon.
in Medellin, right? Medellin was the city, and Cali, yeah, I think.
Cali,
Or
Medellin,
like
Bogota, yes. But now you can find rock fans and metal fans in Ibagué, in Pasto, in different places around the country. Yes, and thanks to that, thanks to the spread of rock and metal music during the 90s. You know.
Well, we said at the beginning it was a very promising topic, and it was
Oh,
Luis, hello. Okay, Luis.
what happened to
I think
Luis?
Luis has gone. Okay, click on listeners. I think time's up. The time is too short, like Luis said before. Thank you, teacher Julian, for your participation today. It was so nice, so interesting to know about what is the story behind this music and
hello.
behind these songs. And also it's part of our history here in Colombia, no? Rock is part of Colombian history as well, especially here in Bogota and
Can you
Medellin
hear?
and the big cities.
Hello.
Yes, I can. I can hear you, Luis.
Sorry, I don't know, but I was just saying that this was an excellent topic, and I am sure that we have to do Click on Colombian Rock too, because we have a lot of bands to talk about, and time is short, but we will have another chance. And thank you, Click on listeners, for your participation as always. And teacher Julian, thank you for being with us again.
Thank you so much for the invitation once again. For me, it's a pleasure to share the love I have for rock music and music in general. And it's very nice to see you again, guys. And thank you so much to the people that share with us, you know, and gave us some comments about their favorite rock Colombian songs. So that's it. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you again in the future.
Bye,
Okay.
Click on listeners. Thank you so much for your participation today.
See you next week.
See you the next Wednesday.
Thank you so much.